these people trying to have us Aries reading sad books. Hello reader friends, hello book besties. I have a very fun reading vlog for you guys today. It is my birth month. If you have seen my April TBR, my March wrap up, you may know that your girl is turning 25. So I thought it would be super cool to maybe read like an Aries for a couple days. I got this idea from BooksandLala. She did a couple of videos where she read like her zodiac sign, and then recently she even did a video where she read like an Aries for a day. First of all, it's Aries season, so it's so cool to see all the birthday book shopping vlogs and hauls, all of the Aries booktubers out there. It is so cool to see my little zodiac gang out there. We're going to talk about what it means to be an Aries, what dates encapsulate the Aries season. We're going to look through some different websites to see what book recommendations certain sites have for Aries. And then we're going to see if we have any books on my shelves. And then if there are any books that I'm like really interested in and want to read, I may go out to Barnes & Noble today and pick some out. So with that being said, let's get started in today's video. Here is my CoStar. It's a very aesthetically pleasing app. Like, I love the designs and the way that it's structured. It is beautiful. It's so beautiful. I am an Aries sun, a Gemini moon, a Capricorn moon, and a Gemini rising. The sun determines your ego, identity, and role in life. It is the core of who you are, and it is the sign you're most likely to already know. Your sun in Aries, meaning you are fundamentally assertive and persistent, as well as courageous. Naturally competitive and fiercely independent, you push things forward with energy and enthusiasm and persevere through anything. You need to learn to understand people as complex wholes. It is in your 12th house, meaning you feel the need to distinguish yourself through privacy, secrets, and introspection. The ending of each of these little like chart descriptions is just a little bit ambiguous. My moon is in Capricorn, so the moon rules your emotions, moods, and feelings. This is likely the sign that you most think of yourself as, since it reflects your personality when you're alone or deeply comfortable. Your moon is in Capricorn, meaning your emotional self is somewhat repressed in the name of responsibility, seriousness, and rationality. You crave the guidance and comfort of a teacher or parent. It is in your 8th house, meaning you find security and safety through darkness, taboos, rebirth, sex, and transformation. Very interesting. My boyfriend is a Capricorn sun, and my mom is also a Capricorn sun as well. So I am very well versed in both male and female Capricorn personalities, I like to think. The last one that I kind of want to go over is my ascendant, which is in Gemini, aka my rising. Your ascendant is the mask you present to people. It can be seen in your personal style and how you come off to people when you first meet. Some say it becomes less relevant as you get older. It changes every 2 hours, and so if it doesn't make sense, reconfirm your birth time to be sure. Your ascendant is in Gemini, meaning you come across as quick-witted, chatty, eclectic, and fun, though somewhat inconsistent. In conversation, you seem probing and curious. I can freaking see that. I am the big question asker. Whenever people are talking, I will ask questions to facilitate response. Like, I love listening to people talk. I don't know why, but I also like talking as well. Also, I will say I do feel like I am a chatty person. I am someone that is able to create and continue conversation if I'm in the right headspace, so I can see where that level of inconsistency can come from. Because sometimes I'm not in that right mental headspace and I don't want anything to do with anyone. And that's a perfect encapsulation of a Gemini. There is my entire chart right there if you are very interested in learning more about me. I went ahead and just found a couple websites. I just typed in book recommendations for Aries. The first one I see is Becoming by Michelle Obama. That's a memoir. A couple of these, I'm not really looking for a memoir. I'm definitely looking for like a fiction book. The Hunger Games, that is a very interesting one to see. I never picked up The Hunger Games as a kid. So a couple books that just don't really like catch my eye. Ooh, Song of Achilles. I do have that on my shelves. Okay, so Song of Achilles is on my TBR cart because I wanted to do a video, and I still do, of reading sad books for a week. And it's very interesting because I did see on Goodreads someone that I know IRL that is reading this. Do I want to be sad the week before my birthday? No, I don't want to be sad during my birth month. But I mean, I'm open to it. I've been wanting to read it, so I will pop this. We'll pop it right here. Ooh, a Brandon Sanderson, Elantris. So that was that first website. We will pop out of that one. Let's see what Thrift Books has to say. You guys probably have heard of Thrift Books, and if you haven't, check it out. Okay, you can get great books at a very cheap price. They're oftentimes, most of the time, used, but you can get new books at good prices as well. So there's that on that. What book should Aries read? Oh, I like how it goes into what the best books could be. So, ooh, are these the books? Oh, Song of Achilles is mentioned twice. There's Song of Achilles. Okay, I don't want to look at the books already. Those born under the Aries sign adhere to the philosophy of every man or woman for themselves, which means they have to also be aware of selfish tendencies. With a singular spirit and a quick temper, these fiery rams are also positive, playful, and upbeat, always striving to live life to the fullest. The best Aries books follow a theme of spontaneity, adventure, and excitement. The first one that pops out is obviously Song of Achilles. So Song of Achilles has 2 book recommendations from 2 different sites already. A Man Called Ove, or Ovi, or Ave, or whatever it is, that's actually becoming a movie if it hasn't already been released with Tom Hanks, and I think I also have that on my TBR cart because I heard that's another sad book. What's up with these people trying to have us Aries reading sad books? Okay, so I do have A Man Called Ove on my TBR cart. Well, they already made it a motion picture. They remade it. Tom Hanks remade it. So there's 2 for Song of Achilles and 1 for A Man Called Ove, or Ovi, or Ave, or whatever. In A Man Called Ove, readers experience Ove's life as it slowly changes from strict and troublesome to heartwarming when he develops a friendship with new neighbors next door. Aww. Okay, so I think maybe it's best that I like take these recommendations not with a grain of salt and just like take them head on like an Aries would, because I mean there's a reason why they've been just chilling on my book cart. I have not been wanting to get to them. I don't want to feel sad, and I feel like people label these books as sad books, but maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe your girl needs to feel something. Okay, so we thank you, Thrift Books. I appreciate your recommendations. This next place is from Pop Sugar, which you probably may have seen on like Snapchat or anything on Instagram, things like that. Girls Who Burn Brighter. I like that cover, it's gorgeous. Ooh, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I've heard of that book, and it's something that's actually already on my TBR. If my local Barnes has it, we're getting it. I'm sorry, it's done. They have it. They have it! Okay, so I think I'm going to reserve this online and pick it up in the store. Yay! Okay, so I just reserved Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I didn't even read what it had to say. When Bernadette goes missing right before her family's planned trip to Antarctica, her daughter Bee sets out to find her. I'm ready for it. I don't even need to read the rest. 6 fiery reads to pick up. A Man Called Ove. Wow, so that's 2 books that have double downs. The Girl Who Played with Fire. The Red Queen as well. Ooh, The Martian again. But I just watched a reading vlog where Alexa Ray read Red Queen and didn't really like it. So these are the 2 books that I have on my physical TBR for today's video. And I do think I am going to choose these 2 books, but I am gonna run over to Barnes real quick and go pick up 2 more books, and I will come back and I will see you guys then. So we officially have our 4 book picks for the video, and we're gonna go through them right now. We have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, A Man Called Ove by Frederick Backman, The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. So these are the 4 book picks. How exciting. I'll check back in with you guys with more reading updates once I start a book.
2 weeks later.
Let's chat. It has been a few weeks since I started this video. I did not anticipate the emotional slump that I would get into this month, and I did not anticipate how busy I would get this month. But your girl has still been reading. I just haven't been vlogging. So Unfortunately, I don't have any reading vlog footage. The first book that I ended up reading was The Song of Achilles, and I was able to get the audiobook on Libby, which I thought was actually really beautifully done. The voice actor was perfect, and I loved just having his voice in my mind for the voice of Patroclus. I really like this book. This is an OG book talk fave. I don't know why it took me so long to read it. I think maybe because, and I talked about it earlier on in the video, that some of these books have just been labeled as sad books, and I just wasn't sure if I wanted to be sad. But I really did love the love story in this book, and also the aura of the book in general. There's so much complexity. I love how you find things out as you go. It's just beautiful. It's beautifully told, beautifully written, and it makes me excited to read Circe, which is another really popular book by this author, which is also a retelling. Then I had A Man Called Ove, or Ove, as I have heard other people pronounce it, and this book pleasantly surprised me. I have actually rated this a 4.25. I think that this book, it's really heartwarming. I don't know. It's not something that I would typically go for, and I think that's why I like doing challenges and things like this, is because it allows me to have a reason to push myself out of my comfort zone and not revert back to my comfortability. But this book surprised me so much. I think that it's very rare to have a book where you're reading about an older character connecting with a younger demographic and a younger group of people. In this book, Ove is an older man who has just kind of been through it in life a little bit. He's very straightforward. He's a black and white kind of guy. Like, there is no gray area. You do good or you do bad. And we learn so much about Ove throughout different stories, and I love that it's almost like an alternating timeline story where one chapter will be called A Man Called Ove and something else, and then another chapter would be A Man Who Was Ove and something else. So you'll know as you read, you'll kind of pick up the context clues, and I love books like that where you have to kind of piece things together yourself. Such an emotionally riveting experience to read. And it's so, like, you just learn to love Ove so much. He has the biggest heart. As you find out in the book, he literally has the biggest heart. He goes from being kind of a hermit type older man who just kind of like does not get along with the younger generation and doesn't like the idea of change, that his identity is rooted in his knowledge and understanding of how things work. And we slowly but surely see that Ove becomes a more malleable person, becomes someone that's more open-minded to different ideas and things that he wasn't before. I will say though that there is a strong theme of wanting to kill yourself, and I think that I was not, number one, not expecting it, but number two, I think that the way that it goes about it is almost, I don't want to say like with an element of humor, but it has such a light tone to it that it's not super heavy. It's super sad that Ove is going through this and he has these thoughts to himself, but it's not super heavy in a way that it could potentially be triggering, but that those things are always really good to know. And who am I to say of someone's triggers? So maybe someone could be triggered by it, but I did think that it was a bit more lighthearted. So I rated this a 4.25. I did finish this today, actually. But moving on to the next two books. These two books were actually picks that I went to go buy for this video. And like I said, I did not anticipate various things happening this month. And so maybe having 4 books was a bit of an overly ambitious stretch. Will I still read these 2 books this month? Absolutely, I will, 100%. I feel like whenever I put books on my TBR, I am more than likely destined to finish them. Where'd You Go, Bernadette was the first book that I started out of all of the books this month, and I have not touched it. I read maybe the first 27 pages. I did not really like the way that this book is written. Is that okay for me to say that after only reading a few pages? I don't know. Also, I found Red Queen on audiobook on YouTube, so I have more incentive as well to read that. So yeah, I just felt like I needed to be transparent. I was avoiding making this clip because I have not done what I said I was going to do. And that's hard to own up to sometimes. I am going to continue on reading these next 2 books. Okay, hello. So it has been a couple days since the last clip. I have finished A Man Called Ove and started The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I have some thoughts. So sometimes whenever I go into books and whenever books already have a little bit of hype or I've seen other book talk or booktubers talking about them, I'll obviously have some preconceived notions, right? So I watched Alexa Ray read this, or she read this book in one of her reading vlogs, and just wasn't 100% captivated by it, and so I went into it with that in the back of my mind. I will say that it is a little bit more exciting, or maybe eventful is the right word, than I was anticipating, and I feel like there's a lot of good elements in this book. However, I am currently more than 50% through the book. I think I only have about 3 or so chapters left. It reminds me a lot of ACOTAR in the sense that a seemingly mortal girl goes to like a more powerful land than what she's used to and finds out that she has a bunch of powers, or could have some powers beyond what she may know, and how she integrates into that society. It's giving that vibe. It's obviously a little bit different, and it's a little bit more Regency-esque. I don't want to say Regency, but very rooted in the politics of the kingdom and stuff like that. I think that, again, there's a lot of good points in this book, and the little sort of like love interest is very intriguing as well. But I will say it's giving like 3-star vibes, and it's also giving that I probably will not continue on in this series, which isn't to say that it's not something that I wouldn't recommend or that it's not a good book. I just don't think that it's something that's going to keep my attention for a long time. Maybe I should continue on in the series. We'll see how the end of the book ends. I heard it kind of leaves off on a bit of a cliffhanger almost. But yeah, that is The Red Queen. Again, only about 3 chapters away, so I'm definitely going to finish this soon. But I don't think, if I'm being honest, that I'm going to get to Where'd You Go, Bernadette in this video. I am going to try to give this another shot, and I am going to read this, but I can slowly feel myself putting myself into a bit of a reading slump, because I'm like, I want to get these books read. Like, I've been reading Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers for probably 2 weeks now, and it's because I've been prioritizing these books, and that's not to say that I haven't been enjoying my reading experiences and having a good time with this video, because I definitely have, but I want to get back to the reads that I personally want to read. Like, I want to read the rest of that book. That book is good. I'm reading this with a couple friends, and they've already started it and finished it, and so I want to pick this bad boy up, and I'm starting to see other people reading it. Want to get to Hot House Flower, so I just think that with the end of the month rolling around, that I'm just going to be a bit more realistic with myself and pat myself on the back for reading 3 books that I did not pick on my own. Well, I guess I did pick them, but that I picked based purely off of this video. You know, wrap this video up, okay? It's taken a bit too long, and I think that the point of the video came across. Your girl read like an Aries for more than a week, but I did find some good books. I've been enjoying the books that I've been reading. I'm gonna finish up Red Queen, and then if you guys want to know how Where'd You Go, Bernadette was, then stay tuned for my April reading wrap up, because I definitely will finish this book before the end of the month. I have officially finished Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I rated it 3 stars. I feel like there was a lot of stuff going on at the very end of the book, and it was definitely very exciting, but I feel like it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just average. I don't think I'm going to continue on in the series. I mean, you never know. Maybe future me will change my mind and decide to read it. I wasn't a huge fan of the main character, and there were just like some decisions that were happening or things that were being said that I just personally didn't resonate with, and so I'm gonna rate this a 3 stars, but I'm happy I read it, and I feel like it pushed me out of my comfort zone. I probably will donate this to a local little free library, or maybe even my regular library, who knows. So I've officially read these 3 books in this video today. Just a quick recap. I rated The Song of Achilles 4.5 stars. I rated A Man Called Ove 4.25 stars, and I rated Red Queen 3 stars. All of these were really good books. The best thing about this entire challenge was being able to be pushed out of my comfort zone to read books that I probably wouldn't naturally gravitate towards, and I ended up finding some pretty good reads. Like I said earlier, I definitely will be finishing and reading Where'd You Go, Bernadette, especially because there is a movie adaptation of that book. I appreciate you guys for watching today's video, and I hope that you liked this take on a little bit of a reading vlog. I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.